In the Monday, October 6th episode of Young and Restless, teasers preview that Victor makes arrangements to take down one of his many enemies. The conflict between Kyle and Audra reaches a boiling point, and Jack believes he holds an ace up his sleeve. Take a look through this Y&R spoilers gallery for a look at that and some other drama coming up in this episode, and don't forget to check out the full spoilers video for the week. Talking to Jack in his office at Genoa, Diane appears concerned about her husband actually teaming up with Victor against Kane. Is there anything she can say to Jack to make him reconsider this dangerous alliance? Jack seems confident that he and Victor can work together against their common enemy, but Diane could be right in that Victor might be unable to put his rivalry with the Abbot aside, and Jack could wind up as collateral damage in this big scheme against Kane. Kyle appears lost in thought while having coffee at the Genoa offices. But is he concerned about his father working with Victor, or is he still thinking about how he blew it with Clare? If Kyle decided to head over to Chancellor Park to clear his head, it's probably not going to help because Audra is there. And as always, she's got some choice words for her ex. But how ugly will this conversation get? It seems like Kyle is trying once again to put Audra in her place, but judging by her expression, she's not bothered one tiny bit by anything he's saying. Could this latest battle inspire either of them to turn their conflict into an all-out war? Audra is typing away on her tablet while sitting in the park, but is this before she's interrupted by Kyle, or after he's left? And is she doing some work for Sally, or is she plotting to destroy Kyle? It looks like Audra might just be getting a coffee from Sharon at Crimson Lights. On the other hand, given that it's Audra, it might not be that innocent. Sharon has a pleasant smile on her face as she waits on her customer, but Audra looks like she's up to something nefarious. Hello, everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching! So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Tuesday, October 7th reveals that Tessa Porter will shock Sharon Newman while Nick Newman interrogates Phyllis Summers. Nikki Newman will also ambush Jill Abbott, so here's what Y&R viewers can look forward to. Once Jill arrives on the Newman property, Nikki will swoop in for a private discussion with her. There'll be some things Nikki wants to get off her chest, so it appears she'll want to make peace and bury any past problems. Since the Newmans need Jill on their side as they go up against Kane Ashby, it's best if Nikki tries to play nice and butter Jill up a bit. Of course, Victor Newman will want a chance to speak with Jill as well, and we'll have some surprising updates for her in the coming episodes. In the meantime, Sharon will finally get some news from Tessa and Daniel Romalotti Jr. regarding their trip to investigate Mariah Copeland's former hotel. Although Sharon has been waiting on a phone call, she'll end up getting the latest info in person since Daniel and Tessa will already be back in Genoa City. Tessa will seem uneasy as she prepares to divulge something awful. Since Mariah attempted to smother a stranger, Tessa and Daniel may have learned some disturbing details. Mariah emphasized the fact that she tried to kill a man. So what happens if he's truly still alive? Could that mystery guy go after Mariah and her loved ones for revenge at some point? Whatever the case, Tessa will have some major fears when it comes to Mariah's safety, so Daniel will offer more comfort. Across town, Y&R spoilers say Nick will back Phyllis into a corner and demand some answers. It turns out Nick will have more questions about Phyllis's allegiance to Kane and how far she's really willing to take this partnership. Since Phyllis thinks she can take care of herself, she won't appreciate Nick constantly nagging her about this. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis will stand her ground when it comes to doing what's best for her own life, so Nick may just have to accept that. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, October 6th to October 24th, reveal that Sienna Bacall will debut while Sharon Newman and Nick Newman search for answers. Kyle Abbott will also make a drastic move that's sure to stun Clare Newman soon enough. The week of October 6 to 10 will bring Victor Newman's media attack on Kane Ashby, along with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson's reward for carrying it out. Jill Abbott and Lily Winters will have a strong reaction once Kane's reputation is once again dragged through the mud. It'll leave Kane with some questions to answer about Colin Atkinson's widow scam and the money that was used to build Arabesque. Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti Jr. will also fill Sharon in on some alarming news related to Mariah Copeland's last business trip, so their hotel investigation will result in some big revelations. As for Jack Abbott, he'll make an impassioned appeal to Jill for help, though he'll eventually just go straight to Kane with his concerns. Jack will push Kane to back off all the Genoa city domination planning and leave Jabot alone. Meanwhile, Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair will lock in more wedding prep as they make an important choice that'll affect their ceremony over with Phyllis Summers. Y&R spoilers say she'll get stuck in a scandal. There'll be some sort of compromising situation for Phyllis, so we'll see if that involves criminal activities or perhaps a hot encounter with Kane. During the week of October 13th to 17, Sharon and Nick will try to get to the bottom of Noah Newman's issues. Something's up with Noah that Nick and Sharon haven't been able to figure out yet, but they'll hope for answers once they talk to him in person. However, Sharon and Nick are about to get tangled up in a mystery that leaves them deeply worried about the threat to their son. Noah's going to get caught up in some danger, so Nick, Sharon, and Detective Burrow will all be involved in saving him. Tamara Braun will make her debut as Sienna Bacall on October 14th, so fans will have a chance to meet this Hollywood club owner and slowly find out more about her. Roger Howarth is also set to appear a mysterious stranger, but could he end up being someone fans know? It's possible Howarth is playing a Tucker McCall recast, but we'll bring you updates as more details emerge on his character's identity. Clare will also have to deal with some surprise arrivals since Victoria Newman will join her in LA, and then Kyle will show up to win Clare back. Something tells us Kyle's plan may not go as well as he might have hoped. The week of October 20th to 24th will ramp up the danger for Noah and could potentially pull Clare into some peril too. It makes sense to turn this into a major umbrella storyline, perhaps one where Holden Novak's past collides with Clare's present. If Clare gets kidnapped along with Noah, that could bring quite a crisis for the Newman family. Kyle may be glad he's in Los Angeles if he has to leap into action and save Clare from a risky ordeal. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kane will also have some tough decisions to make about his future back in GC, so don't miss what's in store. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Monday, October 6th, reveals that Kyle Abbott will offer Audra Charles a one-way jet to anywhere while Victor Newman plots a Kane Ashby media blast. In the park, Kyle will taunt Audra over all her losses and suggest there's nothing left for her in Genoa City. After Kyle offers Audra a flight on the Jabot jet, he'll suggest he's willing to take her anywhere she wants, though it has to be a one-way trip. Audra will reject that plan and contend that Kyle should be the one to leave Genoa City. There'll be more talk about what happened in Nice, as Audra once again acts like Kyle was so close to surrendering to temptation. Kyle will act like he's been taking it easy on Audra because he felt sorry for her. Now, Kyle will mean business and will push Audra to disappear before someone makes it happen for her. Audra will ignore Kyle's threats and manage to get under his skin. When she plays up Holden Novak's LA trip with Clare Newman, after Audra hints about Clare sipping Vespers with Holden and letting him slather sunscreen on her, Kyle will obviously be bothered. Later, Kyle will realize he can't wait around while Holden gets inside Clare's head, so he'll deliver some big news to Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott at Jabot. Diane and Jack will seem concerned as Kyle declares that he's ready to fight. It turns out Kyle will decide to follow Clare to Los Angeles and do everything in his power to reunite with her once he's there. At the coffee house, Nick Newman will tell Sharon Newman that he's delaying his flight to LA until tonight or tomorrow because Victor Newman summoned him. However, Nick will push Sharon to go catch her own imminent flight and meet up with Noah Newman as planned. Sharon will seem uneasy about Noah asking them for advice regarding his new club and will suspect there's more to it than that. Although Sharon will worry Nick's going to get tangled up in Newman drama and skip LA altogether, he'll promise to join her there. Once Nick heads to the ranch, Audra will show up at the Crimson Lights counter. Sharon will mention her upcoming trip to see Noah and hype up how great his life is, including his romance with Allie Nguyen. Audra will seem a little dejected after hearing about Noah's success when she's faced so many setbacks. At the ranch on Monday's Y&R episode, Victor will give Victoria Newman and Nick updates on his plan to move forward with the media attack on Kane across all outlets. As soon as Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson make it back from their trip, Victor will want to publish the scandalous story about Colin Atkinson's final swindle and how it funded Kane's empire. Victor will also want it to be diligent about checking for anything unusual, just in case Kane's AI software threat is the real deal. Although Victor will want to be prepared since Kane's been scheming for a long time, he'll also be brimming with confidence about defeating him. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor will plan to crush Kane like a bug, so stay tuned. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of October 6-10 reveals that Lily Winters and Jill Abbott will demand answers after Jack Abbott pressures Kane Ashby. A wedding decision will also be made, so let's all the highs and lows ahead in Genoa City. After Kyle Abbott threatens Audra Charles and tries to drive her out of town, he'll determine that Clare Newman is worth fighting for. Kyle will resolve to fly to Los Angeles and recapture Clare's heart before Holden Novak steals it. While Nikki Newman tries to mend fences with Jill, Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti Jr. will give Sharon Newman some unsettling updates after retracing Mariah Copeland's steps at the hotel. Next, Y&R spoilers say Victor Newman will give Jill some stunning news, so this may involve the media blast that he's plotting. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson will be rewarded once they do what they're told and publish the Colin Atkinson scandal, which implicates Kane. Back with Nikki, she'll find herself on the hunt for more information. Nikki may question Victor about his strategy against Kane, or maybe this could involve concerns about Clare instead. Regardless, Victoria Newman will land in LA soon and perhaps resolve to stay close to Clare while another round of drama erupts in her love life. As for Jack, he'll pressure Kane to do the right thing and call off whatever nefarious activities he's planning, especially the ones that involve targeting Jabot. Over with Nick Newman, he'll make a rogue move while Lily and Jill push Kane for the whole story. Kane will get grilled as Jill and Lily try to figure out if he really built his empire with Colin's dirty money. Phyllis will get caught in a scandalous situation as well a little later. If Phyllis and Kane mix business with pleasure, someone like Nick or even Lily might walk in on a passionate moment between them. Finally, Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti will make an important choice that'll affect their nuptials. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Danny and Christine's big day will come with some curveballs, so they'll tackle some obstacles as they prepare for it. Victor plots Kane's downfall while letting Jack believe they're allies, a dangerous game that could explode in both families' faces. In the October 6th episode of The Young and the Restless, Victor proved that even after decades of feuding, he still knows how to keep Jack off balance. The two titans circled one another over the growing Kane crisis, and while Jack believed they were forging an alliance, Victor quietly revealed to Victoria that he intends to let Jack think they are working together while plotting Kane's downfall on his own terms. At the ranch, Victor outlined his strategy to Victoria with the kind of calm certainty that has defined his career. Kane had already rejected Newman's demands, showing no fear of the Newman name or the family's influence. But Victor made it clear he had a multi-layered plan ready to go. He stressed that letting Jack think they were on the same side would buy time and create the opening he needed to strike. Victoria pushed back, questioning whether keeping Jack in the dark was worth the risk, but Victor dismissed her concerns. To him, Kane's defiance left no other option. Meanwhile, Jack confided in Diane at Jabot. He admitted that the thought of working with Victor unsettled him, given their long and bitter history, but he insisted there was no other way to defend the company from Kane's aggressive moves. Diane pointed out that Jack could be handing Victor an advantage, but Jack argued that doing nothing would hand Kane victory instead. For Jack, the rivalry with Victor suddenly paled in comparison to the danger Kane represented. Jill remained the unpredictable factor. Her loyalties have always been split between her family ties to Kane and her sense of stewardship over Chancellor's legacy. Jack acknowledged that if Jill sided with Kane, it would embolden him and destabilize the balance of power across Genoa City. If she leaned the other way, Kane's momentum might stall before it truly began. Jill's position has rarely carried this much weight, making her a central figure in the unfolding drama. Kane is no ordinary opponent. With billions at his disposal, a willingness to play dirty, and the ability to tap into old grudges, he has quickly positioned himself as a player the Abbotts and Newmans can't ignore. Victor recognized that, unlike other challengers, Kane wouldn't back down after a few threats. Jack recognized that ignoring Kane could cost Jabot its future. That rare overlap in perspective is what brought the two rivals into the same conversation. Victor may believe he's in control, but pretending to partner with Jack comes with dangers. Jack is not easily manipulated, and if he discovers Victor's true intentions, the fallout could shatter this fragile truce before it even takes hold. At the same time, Kane has made it clear he isn't finished pressing his advantage. With Jill as the swing vote, Diane warning Jack of the risks, and Victoria questioning her father's methods, the stage is set for a corporate war where trust is fleeting and betrayal is inevitable. Nikki seeks peace with Jill, Tessa worries over Mariah's safety, and Nick confronts Phyllis about Kane, the young and the restless. Spoilers for Tuesday, October 7th, 25, hint at confrontations, questions, and deep concerns throughout Genoa City. Nikki takes steps to finally bury the hatchet with Jill. Tessa can't shake her fears for Mariah. And Nick challenges Phyllis about her surprising alliance with Kane. Nikki decides it's time to address the long-standing tension with Jill. These two have a history of clashing, but Nikki makes it clear that holding onto old grudges does no one any good. Expect her to reach out in an attempt to put things to rest once and for all. Whether Jill is willing to listen or match Nikki's olive branch remains to be seen. For Genoa City, even a fragile truce between these powerhouse women could shift the dynamics around them. Meanwhile, Tessa grows increasingly uneasy about Mariah. The two have endured more than their share of dangerous situations in the past, and Tessa can't escape the feeling that Mariah may be in real trouble again. Her instincts tell her that her wife needs her assistance, and those instincts push her to be vigilant. Whether her fears prove grounded or not, Tessa's protective side emerges stronger than ever. Will Tessa solve Mariah's situation? Elsewhere, Nick is troubled when he learns about Phyllis's latest business dealings with Kane. He can't help but question her judgment, pressing her on why she would risk so much by teaming up with someone whose history makes him difficult to trust. Phyllis, never one to back down, will have to explain what she stands to gain, and why she's willing to align with Kane despite the potential fallout. Find out more about what happens this week in our weekly Y&R Spoilers update for October 6 to 10. It's a power-packed week in Genoa City as old enemies unite, secrets surface, and tempers flare. Victor's alliance with Jack leaves Victoria uneasy. Tessa and Daniel return with potential answers about Mariah, and Nikki's long-overdue talk with Jill ignites a dramatic showdown. It'll be a week of confrontations and revelations from October 6 to 10. This week's The Young and the Restless video previews. That one character reveals their devious plan, while another is confronted by a rival. Here's a sneak peek of what's ahead in Genoa City. Victor isn't giving up on his plot to take down Kane. To do so, he's teaming with his longtime nemesis, Jack. Victor and Jack working together has Victoria suspicious, so Victor fills her in on his plan. After explaining Phase 1 of his plot, Victoria replies, "Dare I ask what Phase 2 is?" Although Victoria is usually supportive of her father, his plan with Kane might have her concerned. Tessa and Daniel headed to San Francisco to investigate Mariah's story. Tessa isn't giving up on Mariah or their marriage. If there's any truth to Mariah's claim of trying to kill a man, then Tessa wants to know. Well, it seems she'll get her answers. This week's Y&R, Tessa and Daniel return from their trip and inform Sharon of what they found. Did Tessa and Daniel discover Mariah was telling the truth? Or did they leave San Francisco with more questions than answers? Now that Jill is back in Genoa City, many people want to see her. This week, Jill stops by the Newman Ranch and ends up talking with Nikki. The Newman matriarch is glad to have alone time with Jill because there's something she wants to get off her chest, something that's long overdue. Odds are, Nikki will want to discuss Billy and Kane, or perhaps she'll want to talk about their friend Catherine. Whatever she has to say, chances are it'll upset Jill and lead to an argument between the two women. Tessa and Daniel are determined to uncover what really happened the night Mariah's trauma took over. But what if the answers they find put their hearts and their safety at risk. This week's slow-burning storyline on The Young and the Restless revolves around Mariah's murder mystery. She confessed to killing someone during her business trip. Now, Tessa is going to the scene of the crime to get some clues. Months ago, Mariah went away on a Cassidy-first business trip. At her hotel, she encountered a creepy older man. Her trauma involving Ian came back to haunt her when she interacted with this creepy fellow. The trauma was so overwhelming that she ended up killing or attempting to kill the man. Mariah took a pillow and suffocated him while she was straddling him. That's all we know that happened. Mariah decided to head to a Boston clinic to work on herself rather than her relationship. But Tessa isn't giving up easily. She's heading to the hotel to gather more information about Mariah's crime. Daniel will be joining Tessa on this trip. He wants to support her and help her get answers, but he's also going against Mariah's back. He was supposed to keep Tessa safe and look out for her. Tessa and Daniel could walk into a dangerous trap. They could ask the person the wrong questions and attract the wrong kind of attention. This plan could backfire in both of their faces. Also, what do they anticipate finding? It's unlikely that the dead body will be there, along with any other evidence, since it's been months since Mariah's business trip. Additionally, it's likely that the two will stay in one of the hotel's rooms. It'll likely have one bed, which they will have to share. If that's the case, this intimate moment could bring them closer together. After all, Daniel does have feelings for Tessa. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates suggest that Phyllis Summers' mysterious new boyfriend will soon be unveiled. The most recent preview for October confirms that Phyllis is about to embark on an unexpected romantic journey, promising fans some exciting chemistry. There's no word yet on who Phyllis will be paired with, but a couple of candidates immediately come to mind. The first is Kane Ashby, especially since earlier spoilers hinted at a love triangle involving Phyllis, Kane, and Lily Winters. Since Phyllis and Kane have a unique understanding of each other's quirks, there's a possibility they might combine business with pleasure. Kane is feeling lonely and frustrated after being rejected by Lily multiple times. Moreover, with Kane's children pushing him away, it's clear why he might be attracted to the one person who gets his power struggles and doesn't judge him for it. In Genoa City, Kane is being treated like the big bad wolf, but Phyllis recognizes a strong man who has the potential for exciting experiences with her. If this continues, Kane could easily get caught up in a fantasy of being a power couple with Phyllis. On another note, Roger Howarth is set to make his debut in a mysterious role soon. There's speculation that he might be stepping into the shoes of Tucker McCall, a role last played by Trevor St. John, especially since Tucker has been mentioned frequently on the show. Given that Phyllis and Howarth have previously been paired on General Hospital, it's possible that Y&R wants to bring them together again. Although Phyllis has a messy history with Tucker, we could imagine them heating things up once Howarth is potentially playing the part. On the other hand, Howarth might be portraying someone else entirely. It doesn't really matter, as long as Stafford and Howarth have on-screen chemistry together. And based on their work as Nina Reeves and Franco Baldwin on GH, they indeed do. Of course, nobody can rule out the idea of another surprise lover coming along and rocking Phyllis' world instead. Regardless of who Phyllis enters a romance with, it's nice to know she'll find someone to fall for this October. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis will make some intriguing updates to her love life, so stay tuned. On The Young and the Restless, Zuleika Silver reveals that Audra's entire approach to winning Nate back is about to change. After realizing that manipulation and lies only pushed him further away, Audra plans to take a completely new path, one built on truth and vulnerability. On The Young and the Restless, Zuleika Silver opens up about Audra's emotional awakening. After losing Nate, Audra realizes that her manipulative ways won't bring him back. This moment marks a major turning point for her. She knows it's time to change. Completely. According to Silver, Audra has finally seen through her own lies. She's just trying to save face, the actress admits, adding that Audra's tactics have only made things worse. With her relationship with Nate in ruins, Audra must face a painful truth. Honesty may be her only path forward. This shift will push her toward a side viewers haven't seen before, vulnerable and raw. Zuleika Silver hints that Audra will soon start showing her true self. She's realizing that lying won't get her anywhere, Silver explains. After her confrontation with Nate, Audra begins to understand that honesty is her last chance. It's not easy for her, but this time, she's ready to own her mistakes. The upcoming scenes will reveal Audra in her most authentic form yet. For the first time, she takes accountability for her actions and shows genuine remorse. Silver describes these moments as emotional and intense, showing Audra stripped of her usual defenses. Her scenes with Nate, played by Sean Dominic, were very raw and sad, Silver shares, a sign that Audra's evolution is both personal and profound. Audra's connection with Amy gave viewers a glimpse of her hidden compassion. Silver explains that Audra's bond with Amy, especially during her illness, revealed a softer side that rarely surfaces. For a woman used to manipulation, real affection felt foreign, even frightening. Now, losing Nate has forced Audra to see what she truly lost. He gave her a sense of safety she didn't know she needed, Silver notes. He made her better, but she realized it too late. This heartbreak is the catalyst for Audra's transformation. She's done pretending, and her next moves will come from a place of honesty rather than control. Zuleika Silver promises that Audra's story is far from over. She's not giving up Nate without a fight, Silver teases. But this time, the fight won't be fueled by lies. It'll be driven by truth. Audra's journey toward redemption is just beginning, and fans can expect emotional scenes as she confronts her past and redefines her future. The Young and the Restless has seen Audra manipulate, scheme, and deceive. But now, viewers will see her rebuild from the inside out. Her new strategy isn't about power anymore. It's about love, honesty, and growth. Zuleika Silver's insight into Audra's changing heart promises a deeply emotional arc on The Young and the Restless. As Audra embraces vulnerability, her redemption story could reshape Genoa City's romantic landscape. Stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily for more updates and exclusive Y&R insights. Young and the Restless, spoilers for next week, look at Victor Newman's crazy plan, Jill Abbott's coming confrontation, and Tessa Porter's horrifying new discovery. We've got the latest Y&R spoilers for the week of October 6th. All right, let's start with Jill, who has just arrived in Genoa City because Sally Spectra and Jack Abbott both called Jill and said, "Please come ASAP. There's a crisis with Billy Abbott and Kane Ashby." So, as Jill Abbott arrives at the end of this week, her first stop is over at the Kane train. Not long after Jill rolls into the station, guess who else shows up? Billy Abbott arrives and is really irritated that his mom, Jill, went to see Kane before she came to see him. So, Billy starts ranting about Kane still being Jill's favorite, her number one son, even though, as we all know, Kane is a fraud and not her bio kid. Jill says she and Kane have a lot to discuss. Plus, Jill wasn't sure Billy would even let her in his door if she went over to see him. So then Billy is playing tattletale like a child, and he wants to tell her what Kane has been up to, just like sibling rivalry all over again. Jill says she's already heard from Jack about what Kane has been up to, but Jill wants to hear it directly from Kane why he came back to Genoa City. So, he tells Jill that there are some people in town that he wants to win over, but Billy is like, "Nuh-uh." Also this week, Victor headed over to see Jack at the Abbott mansion to talk about their plan to take down Kane. At first, Victor said he wanted to wait until Jill showed up so he could talk to her and Jack Abbott together. But Jack Abbott is worried that Kane is ready to attack now. They need to firm up the plans. They can't wait. Also next week, Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti are back to Genoa City after their off-screen trip to investigate at the hotel where Mariah Copeland was staying when she told Tessa that she nearly killed a man. Sharon Newman is surprised to see Daniel and Tessa, and Sharon asks if they found out anything. Tessa looks really distraught and tells Sharon, "Yes, they did find out something. Whatever she and Daniel dug up, it must be really bad." Be sure to come back soon for our full daily Young and the Restless spoilers video that includes everything happening all week long from October 6th through the 10th. Young and the Restless has Clare Grace Newman, single now after dumping Kyle Abbott, and she is ready to go out and really live her life. we're going to talk about what Claire is going to do now that she's single and eager to mingle. So, Claire just broke up with Kyle, partly because he kissed Audra Charles and lied about it, and partly because she needs more life experience. Kyle was Claire's first in every way, and she wants to experience more of life before she settles down. Kyle might have been able to talk her into sticking with him if he had just given her a moment to breathe and think things through when all of the Audra Charles stuff came out. But instead, Kyle doubled down and tried to fix things in the worst possible way by proposing. Plus, he didn't let up, not even after she turned down the proposal. I think Kyle's proposing is what pushed Claire to realize that she can't settle down with anybody right now, least of all him, because she jumped in too deep and too fast, and now she wants a reset. Claire is still figuring out who she is after being controlled all of her life by her psycho aunt Jordan Howard. So, now that she is free to live life on her terms without Kyle pressuring her or Jordan controlling her, we've got a few ideas for what she should do next. First of all, there's Holden Novak to consider. He's gorgeous, and I'm thinking Claire should expand her horizons romantically, or at least in terms of intimacy. Kyle was already saying that Holden is a playboy and that Claire going to see him in LA is a trap, but I think Claire is out to have some fun and get more experience. However, I will say I hope she doesn't fall in love with Holden, because she is just coming out of a super serious relationship with Kyle. Claire needs to explore a lot more of what life has to offer before she gets into another serious relationship. However, Holden could be a really fun place for her to get started doing a little more exploration. A little more living. The next thing that I think Claire should do is encourage Nate Hastings to reunite with her mom, Victoria Newman. That way, Claire can rub it in Audra Charles's face that Nate is with a better woman, and he won't ever take another look at Audra again. Now, it feels to me like Young and the Restless is ready to revisit Nate and Victoria as a couple. The last time they were together, they didn't do it the right way because Nate was cheating on Elena Dawson with Victoria, and then Victor Newman stuck his nose in where it didn't belong, like he always does. But now, Nate and Victoria are in very different places. They've both done a lot of growing and have developed a deep and genuine friendship. So I think Nate and Victoria could be really good for each other at this point. So a third thing I'd like to see Claire do is to spend some time bonding with her uncle Adam Newman. They haven't had the chance to really get to know each other and bond because there's just one crisis after another with the Newmans. I do think Claire and Adam have a lot in common. Now, a fourth thing I'd like to see is for Claire to set some crystal clear boundaries with her grandpa, Victor Newman. He needs to know that he doesn't ever get to meddle in Claire's life again. Based on how he did her and Kyle so dirty making that deal with Audra Charles, I feel like Claire needs to make it very clear to Victor, this was your one chance with me. Don't ever meddle in my relationships again. So, fifth and finally, I think Claire needs to come back to Genoa City and rub her hot rebound fling with Holden right in Kyle's face as soon as she gets back from LA. And yes, I know Victor was the one plotting against Claire and Kyle, but Kyle is the one who went way too far with Audra Charles. As far as I'm concerned, he was legit cheating, no matter what his explanation was for trying to out her scheme. Kyle had every opportunity to be the bigger man, to be the better man than Victor. But instead, Kyle let Victor play him like a cheap fiddle. And Kyle is the one who ultimately destroyed his relationship with Claire by telling all those lies. I really hope Claire eventually finds out that Kyle and Audra were rolling around on the bed with only a towel between them and kissing passionately, starting to put hands places, and then it barely stopped. And now Kyle is trying to warn Claire about Holden when Kyle is no better. Honestly, I know Claire came to Genoa City with the absolute worst intentions out there, trying to kill the Newmans. But honestly, I love Haley Aaron as an actress. I loved her on General Hospital. I love her on Young and the Restless. And I think she is very much a Newman, so trying to kill the whole family proves it, and I want to see Claire really embrace her new life, and the Young and the Restless, spoiler reveal, returns for Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair, upcoming wedding, has been announced and more. Who can we plan on returning the week of October 6th? Returning for the wedding will be Gina Roma returns for the wedding. Of course, Christine's best friend, Nina Webster, will be on hand as well. Michael and Laura Lee will be back on the 10th. Abby Newman will be on set as well. Jess Walton will be seen with Victor Newman, Nikki Newman, Kane Ashby, and Lily Winters. Tessa Porter will be back on October 7th. Melissa Ordway hasn't been seen as Abby Newman Winters since last summer in France. Now Melissa is back on set filming. Ordway shared the news of her return on her Instagram. Ordway was taken off contract over a year ago. Jess Walton is back to deal with Kane Ashby and Billy Abbott. However, Billy told Jack and Victor that Jill went straight to Kane when she came to town. Victor decided it was time to divide and stop them. Jill doesn't seem to be meeting with any of the Abbotts, at least on purpose this week. Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti will return from their trip to find out what happened with Mariah Copeland at the hotel, where she says she tried to choke a man. Tessa and Michael will get some information, but will it help them or hurt them when it comes to saving Mariah? Mariah is obviously still traumatized by everything that went on with this guy. However, Mariah was also triggered from Ian Ward's abuse when she was younger too. Ian had groomed Mariah to do some pretty mean things. Mariah took a while to get used to her mother after all of this as well. Can Mariah ever get past Ian's manipulations? This is your comings and going for this week. Jill obviously seems to be siding with Kane Ashby over Bill and everyone else. Jill doesn't see that even after all that has happened. Will Billy ever get back in his mother's good graces? Will Jill ever take time to work things out with her son, or would she rather claim Kane because she feel? Jill refuses to see that Kane is just like his father. Will Jill finally give son the benefit of the doubt? Tune in to find out about the drama happening in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless Spoilers weekly update for October 6/10 tease that Phyllis is caught in a compromising position after Kyle's war with Audra reaches the point of no return. Plus, Nikki settles some unfinished business with Jill. Tune in next week so you can catch all of the action in Genoa City. Monday, September 29th, 2025. Episode number 132 du Nikki'S. Victor set a clever trap for Kane, leaving the schemer unaware that he was walking right into his rival's snare. Meanwhile, Nick and Sharon planned a trip to visit Noah, demonstrating their commitment to supporting their son despite the distance. At the same time, Clare made a bold decision that shaped the course of her future. She decided to break up with Kyle. Her choice carried weight, proving she was ready to step into a new chapter of her life. Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. Episode number 132-21. Nikki showed her sharp edge when she put Diane firmly in her place, making it clear that she would not tolerate any missteps. Elsewhere, Sally kept a significant secret from Billy, a choice that created tension between them and raised questions about trust in their relationship. Meanwhile, Tessa stood her ground and defended her actions, refusing to let anyone make her feel guilty for the choices she made. Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. Episode number 13322. Victor continued to play his cards close to the vest, especially in his dealings with Jack and their new alliance. The careful maneuvering underscored just how determined he was to maintain control. Meanwhile, Michael struggled with resisting old habits, finding it difficult to step away from patterns that had shaped much of his past. Lauren, meanwhile, took matters into her own hands when she put Nikki in a difficult position. Ultimately, Lauren left Michael after realizing he was working with Victor. Again. Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. Episode number 13223. Jill made her return to Genoa City, stepping back into the middle of unfinished business between Billy and Kane. Her presence compelled both men to confront issues that had been simmering for far too long. At the same time, Lily and Amy found common ground, opening the door for a more cooperative future between them. Across town, Audra confronted Nate with a heartfelt request for a second chance, determined to prove she was worthy of his trust despite their complicated history. Friday, October 3rd, 2025. Episode number 13224. Victor and Jack put aside years of animosity to agree on a plan of attack, a move that shocked those who knew how deeply rooted their rivalry had been. Their fragile alliance set the stage for a new chapter of high-stakes maneuvering. Meanwhile, Billy reopened old wounds with Jill, forcing mother and son to rehash past conflicts that had never been fully resolved. The emotional exchange reminded both of them that the past continued to shape the present in painful and unpredictable ways. All-out war hits Genoa City next week. Next week, on The Young and the Restless, several battles are being waged, including one between Kyle and Audra. Additionally, it appears to be a divide-and-conquer approach, as Kane engages in war on multiple fronts. Everybody in Genoa City is coming at him from different angles. Does he have any allies? Both Kyle and Audra have lost their relationships over the war with each other. Clare broke up with the young abbot in favor of living at her best life on her terms. Meanwhile, Nate couldn't get past Audra's incessant lying. You'd think that Kyle and Audra could sit back and look at the damage they've done and realize their battles aren't just hurting them, they're also hurting the people in their lives. Nope, that's not what happens. Instead, they double down and are ready to take no prisoners. Next week, expect Kyle and Audra's war to approach the point of no return. What does that mean? And who wins? Will Kyle get what he wants, Audra kicked out of Genoa City for good? Or will Audra be the ultimate survivor? Meanwhile, the other war happening next week is the one against Kane Ashby, the billionaire formerly known as Aristotle Dumas. The Newmans and the Abbotts are working together, and from the looks of things, they'll enlist at least one of the Winters. So, it inevitably feels like the players are choosing to divide and conquer. While Victor plots to take down Kane, and Jack hides a trick up his sleeve, Nick first questions Phyllis's alliance with Kane. If he could sever that particular bond, then Kane would be left even more vulnerable. Later, Nick decides to go rogue. What does that look like? While Nick attempts to think outside the Kane box, Jill and Lily team up to approach Kane another way. They take a more emotional angle and confront Kane about his past. Speaking of Jill, she gets to mix it up with the Newman matriarch and patriarch in separate conversations. First, Nikki settles unfinished business with Jill. Does this have to do with Chancellor? Next, Victor shares shocking news with Jill. What will Victor reveal? As for Phyllis, by the end of the week, she gets caught in a compromising position. Knowing her, this move probably won't win her friends.